So, what do Trump's new tariffs, Elon's wild tweets, and crashing Tesla stocks have to do with your money, your business, or your side hustle? A lot more than you think. Let's break it all down. Welcome to another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. And today we're diving into Trump's tariffs as well as Elon's stock situation. All right, so I'm Gloria and this is Raissa. So, what do tariffs mean for the average consumer? Let's find out.
Remember, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones, that kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated, and great Americans, the trade craft of America, is going to fix them, is going to work on them.
That would be like me watching an NBA game being like, oh, it's easy to score a basket. The reality is it's the most complex supply chain in the world. And the way that they have 1.5 billion iPhones and they're able to make them at $1,000 is because of the supply chain that's really been built over the last decade. You build that in the US with a fab in West Virginia, New Jersey, there'll be $3,500 iPhones. It would take Apple $30 billion in 3 years to move just 10% of the supply chain to the US.
$30 billion, 3 years to move 10% of the supply chain.
To move 10% of the supply chain.
Leaving 90% over there.
Leaving 90% over there. And for someone like myself that's traveled throughout Asia for decades, the reality of it, it's a fictional tale. And that's why I think you see what's happened to the stock, because no company is more caught up in this tariff, front and center in this Category 5 storm, than Cupertino and Apple, and that's the shame of it.
So basically with these tariffs, we're getting higher prices, less choice. It's basically like inflation on steroids, and this is not a good look for us. So from the video, we just saw that this would definitely be bad for your everyday consumption products, right? Like talking about iPhones now costing like $3,500 if they were to be produced locally in America compared to China. So these are some things to put into consideration when we're looking at all these tariff wars going on. I think right now, Trump has put 145% tariffs on China. I think either it's 120 or 145. Yeah. And that is crazy. Mm-hmm. That is a crazy amount to put. So could this raise the price of everyday tech, like the iPhones and the laptops? Let's watch. Yeah, let's figure it out.
That smartphone in your pocket is now at the center of an escalating trade war. President Trump's wave of tariffs in early April is sending shockwaves through the stock market, with Apple potentially facing the biggest impact of any tech company. Experts warn iPhone prices could jump 30 to 40% as President Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports take effect.
If the iPhone prices were to jump 30 to 40%, consumers would spend a lot less, they would upgrade a lot less frequently, and that's going to put a huge damper on Apple's profit.
According to Rosenblatt Securities, an iPhone 16 starting at $799 could cost over $1,100, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max starting at $1,599 could cost $2,300 if the tariff cost is passed on to consumers.
It's 100% certain that Apple will pass at least a large portion of these costs on to the consumer. No company in history has ever passed zero onto the consumer, and the reason is because, like all taxes, everyone ends up paying some share of it.
Markets reacted quickly to Trump's tariff announcement. Apple shares tumbled on the news, with much of its production based in China, which is facing some of the toughest tariff increases.
It's really difficult to see what the upside of all of this is.
That's Dave Hebert, a senior research fellow at the American Institute for Economic Research. Now, he says the timing on when Apple products could get more expensive all depends on the tech giant's existing supply and contracts.
The profitability of Apple is going to go down as they eat those costs in the short run. Once those contracts are up and they can be renegotiated, however, those prices are going to be passed on straight to the consumer.
Apple isn't waiting to react. The Wall Street Journal reported on April 7th the company plans to send more iPhones to the US from India instead of China. Apple is expected to make around 25 million iPhones in India this year, 10 million of which are typically sold within India. And according to Bank of America analysts, if Apple sends them all to the US, it could supply about half of America's iPhone demand. While that might soften the blow, Apple's core production remains anchored in China. The short-term workaround is a big deal because iPhones make up 50% of Apple's revenue. And according to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, Apple is especially vulnerable to Trump's trade policies. In an early April note to investors, he says, "In our view, no US tech company is more negatively impacted by these tariffs than Apple, with 90% of iPhones produced and assembled in China." The White House says these tariffs on China will bring high-tech manufacturing back to American soil. Here's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick on CBS.
Wow. Okay. So basically, we're going to be paying 43% more. So it's like you're getting the Pro Max for like the base model.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather just get the iPhones produced in China than having them produced here in the United States because the prices are going to be way up. We cannot afford that.
Maybe just switch to Samsung.
I don't know about that. I feel like when you're used to using like iPhone, it's so hard for you to go back to using Android. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. Android might be the way to go if Apple is struggling because I already think the iPhones are like crazily overpriced, to be honest. Like every single year they're coming up with something new. And now to actually now increase the cost when it's already like a lot, you know, in the economy with things not really moving well. I don't know how that's going to look.
Yeah.
So do these policies help or hurt your business? Because Trump has mentioned that he believes increasing the tariffs will create more local businesses in America and is going to force Americans to be able to now be self-sufficient.
Right. And that is good for the economy. But is it really though? So now the real question honestly is like, would you rather pay 43% more for an iPhone?
I would just switch to Android. They're talking about people's rent prices for a phone.
Yeah, literally.
They said 2,000. Did I hear 2,500?
That's huge.
Are you?
Oh my God.
That's someone's monthly income. That's someone's rent.
Yeah, I'd
for
rather
a phone.
Man, I'd rather go back to using flip phones before I drop 2K on a phone, honestly.
Android it is.
Yeah.
Android, here I come.
So, you know, Doge, right? Elon Musk.
Okay.
Tesla, right? The stocks went all the way down.
You know what?
So why is Tesla struggling right now? Like, let's try to figure out like what's going on with that, you know, the Tesla stocks and Tesla altogether.
And I mean, let's watch the video first.
Because there's been a lot of brand damage, misdeliveries, too much of Elon on Twitter instead of you know running Tesla, right? There's been a lot going on.
And I remember he actually said that the fact that he took over Doge is going to hurt him. I don't know if you remember him saying that. I think there was an interview where he mentioned that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is crazy because people are vandalizing Teslas.
Yes.
Like you can be an individual and you own Tesla stocks and people would like a car, sorry, not stocks. Like you own a Tesla, right?
Right.
And you're driving on the road and people will come and vandalize your car.
I feel like the Tesla owners have nothing to do with the anger, you know what I mean, or the issues going on with Elon and the Doge administration. Like people need to differentiate between the company and the owner and the products.
Yep, you need to.
Because a lot of innocent people
are getting hurt. They're losing their property. You know, you're coming down and then, you know, you're deciding to just damage their vehicle that they invested in. It's, you know, just imagine someone damaging something you worked so hard for. I would be mortified, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, part of me, I'm kind of relieved that I didn't purchase a Tesla, but again, not saying that it's okay what people are doing to Tesla owners' vehicles because that's not right, you know.
Yeah, and to say that Tesla was one of my dream cars.
Really?
I'm telling you, I used to get so excited when I saw Tesla driving. This was back in like 2021, you know, when it just came out and everyone was like
Right.
excited and it had like the doors with the wings.
Yes.
I wanted a Tesla so bad.
Mhm.
You have no idea. So
Do you still want a Tesla after
to
all
be
of this?
honest, I still do, because the guy is a genius, right? He might not be
Mhm.
the best leader, but he's a genius.
Is he really though?
I'm talking about in terms of when it comes to the tech. He's been able to create Tesla. Come on.
So,
like-
okay, the thing with Elon, he has a lot of engineers literally that he pays, and they have like PhDs, they have engineering degrees. So, even the thing with Tesla,
Right.
Tesla was a company that was founded by other founders, and Elon just purchased the company. I don't know if you know, people are aware of that, but I think the history is a little bit scrapped a little bit. People are putting it in the back burner, and they're painting Elon to be this genius or whatever
because of his business idea.
because of his not even business idea, because he has the money to purchase businesses that are already established. Because Elon purchased Tesla. The original founders of Tesla are not even being put on the forefront anymore. They're just talking about Elon is a genius, Elon this, Elon that, right? But Elon hires engineers that have the degrees, that have the know-how to put all this thing together. Elon purchases companies. Even the PayPal, originally, Elon was one of the, you know what I mean? He contributed towards PayPal. He had the money to put it behind companies that are already thriving, companies that are already innovative. You know what I mean? So I don't really know if Elon is a quote unquote genius, like people say it. But hey,
So who
if you have
knows?
enough money, you can purchase a thriving business that's already doing well, and you put your name on it as a CEO, and
That's
you kick
true.
out the original founders.
That's true too.
And now
That's
you
true.
become a genius. Like Elon.
Hey, money.
Yeah.
That's true.
Money talks.
Bullshit works.
There
That's
you
true
go.
too. But I would say though, takes a good eye to know when it takes a good eye to know when a company is gonna do well. You know what I mean? Like it takes a good eye to be like, this is gonna be something. If not, everyone else would have been it, you know. But I know right now he's not the guy everyone likes right now, and I understand that. And he's not the one that founded it, so I understand that too. But I do think it takes a good eye. Everyone cannot, I think it takes a good eye to not see like, okay, I think that's gonna be the next business, and to invest in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a risk, and a lot of people will have the money, but they might not want to take the risk.
Yeah.
So, at least I'll give him credit for that.
Okay.
But now we have to question if he's a genius or something, because I was like, ooh, okay. So let's see this next video about his brand damage, missed deliveries, and just everything going on with him and Tesla on Twitter.
Tesla's first quarter 2025 deliveries fell short of expectations, leading to a significant drop in stock price. Analysts cite unprecedented brand damage due to CEO Elon Musk's political actions, prompting lowered earnings forecasts. The stock has declined 44% since December 2024, reflecting investor concerns over sales and brand equity.
44% decline. That is huge. Ooh. I know Tesla stock owners are probably sick to their stomach right now. I mean, I know I would.
I would too.
Yeah, I know. Like if I own a Tesla stock and my stock decreased negative 44%, I would be sick to my stomach right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
just imagine losing all of that money. So I guess the key takeaway here is the smartest guy in the room maybe trying to do too much. Okay.
Yeah. So is Elon distracted by politics or side projects?
I don't even think it's a distraction, because as you mentioned, he has engineers, he has people working for him. It's not as if he's the one actually doing the work.
Yeah.
He might be providing some oversight, looking at the overall money, and these are all speculations, of course. But he's not the one actually going in there to build these cars and to program these cars and build the models,
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's because he got carried away with Doge. but I would say because of his involvement in Doge.
Yeah.
Because politics is personal.
Mm-hmm.
People look at it like, oh, you voted against this and this affects me personally. So now I have a
Right.
personal vendetta with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he took that into consideration before he went into politics, because now whether he's the forefront of whatever is happening or not is affecting him personally. And he has a lot to lose because of his, his market, the business that he's in is cars. He needs people to want to purchase his cars. He needs people to want to buy. And now people are looking at him like, nah,
Right.
we're not doing that.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if Elon regrets like taking on the role of the doing the Dodge administration and participating in that. I don't know. I wonder sometimes, like, is he regretting participating in that?
Yeah, I think he'll have to tell us. I think we'll have to hear. I do know, like I said earlier on, that he said it. He said that him being part of Doge, people are threatening him personally. People are trying to send him death threats and all that kind of stuff. So I know for a fact that I think before his stocks got really bad, he probably could smell this coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you probably could be like, oh, people are not gonna like this. People are not gonna like this. But
so do you think maybe the Tesla stocks will probably go back up, or is it going to keep crashing?
I mean, I do think electric cars are the way to go for the future eventually. So if not Tesla, perhaps if another brand, this would be a perfect time for a competitor to show up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just imagine, because there's some people that just love electric cars. Is the model is more sleek, it's easy to go, is protecting the protecting the environment and all of that, and is more modern, it's forward thinking technology and all of that. So this would be the perfect time for a competitor, because Tesla was like a monopoly. It's like the electric car in the US, everyone is thinking about is Tesla. But now just imagine if there were, I know there are other electric cars, like there's Honda and all that stuff, but I think this is a perfect time for them to really, I'm sure they're probably doing well right now, to be honest. Like Toyota, Honda, those are the ones I know that have electric cars. I think there's a lot more, but I guess this is like a good time for them.
Okay. So let's find out if the investors should be worried about, the dip, or should they be hoping that perhaps the dip might go back up.
Okay.
Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I'll start with this one, this steeply descending channel top we settled above a week ago this Wednesday, as I recall, on rumors that Musk was going to leave the White House and resume his role at Tesla in a more focused way. And then we had all the tariff stuff the following day. China retaliated, so forth and so on, and here we are. So we've got kind of a double bottom going there. We did take out that low from early March by a hair. We did not test 212.11, which is this pullback low before the big rally began in October of 24. And then, so there's that. We've got the descending channel top, 259.99, still has meaning. Having closed back below it was a sign of weakness in itself. There is a newly formed short-term, like 1 to 2 week descending channel top at 261.70 today.
I feel like if I own Tesla stocks, I would hold on to it. I'll wait, because the volatility is wild right now, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, so let's just do a quick recap, right? Everything we've discussed in this video.
A lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we touched a lot of different points.
We started off with Trump and his tariffs and how that affects everyday consumers
and business owners.
And we mentioned the iPhone, right? How there's the possibility of prices going up. Apple is looking to move its manufacturing location to India, which might cause iPhones to cost just as much as your rent.
Crazy.
Yep. And now we are also looking into Tesla, the fact that the stocks have been dropping. We discussed a little bit about, is Elon really a genius or not? And all of this, right? Just think of all of this and see how it affects you as an individual, you as a business owner, and feel free to leave a comment. Would you still purchase a Tesla stock?
Yeah. So I think this is why financial literacy matters as well, because you want to be able to keep in touch with what's going on in the economy, right? Like you want to be, even if you don't watch the news, right? At least be able to see these highlights to understand what's happening with your money if you're trading in the stock market, right? And if in case you are shopping and you see things are going up, right? You want to understand like what's going on and why this is happening, right? So like Raissa mentioned, let us know, like, would you pay more for an iPhone? And drop your thoughts in the comments.
In the comment section, would you want to buy? Are you still looking into Tesla? Would you stand? Are you a diehard Tesla fan, not going anywhere? And tell us what you think. And it was a great time spending time with you guys. And we'll see you in our next episode. Bye.
Thank you.